Hello there, my name is Pavel Stelmach and now we'll unveil the top news of recent days. Ukrainian troops began to withdraw from some districts of Avdiivka. As Alexander Tarnavsky, the commander of the operational group of troops Tavriia, reported, after many months of confrontation, the command of the grouping made a decision to withdraw from the Denis position to the southeastern outskirts of Avdiivka.
The decision to leave was made in order to save personnel and improve the operational situation. Technically, the occupation of this position does not give the enemy a strategic advantage and doesn't change the situation within the Avdiivka defense operation. Regrouping of troops, replenishment of supplies and arrangement of units in new positions are currently underway. There is a planned strengthening of units. Alexander Tarnavsky, commander of the Tavriia Operational Strategic Group, on Telegram.
Of course, the Russian mass media and the general staff will now present these events as a great victory for them. However, it is quite difficult to call it big and a victory at all. After all, the Russians used about 50 guided aerial bombs every day and now for months carried out meat assaults. According to the assessment of the international OSINT researchers, losses in Russian armored vehicles and tanks are 13 times greater than Ukrainian ones. For several months in a row, our soldiers defending Avdiivka have been taking and talking about the hell that was going on there. The industrial zone of the city was shelled with phosphorus shells. As a result, tanks with fuel, oil, caught fire and caustic smoke hung over the territory. Avdiivka has now become one of the other cities of Donbass, Bakhmut, Popasna, Liman, which simply do not exist anymore. There are only ruins on the site of a once flourishing city. Holding Avdiivka was important in order to prevent Russian artillery and terror further west to the Donetsk region. The grant of Russian resources and reserves to exhaust their armada, but as reported in Tavriia grouping, under the most difficult circumstances on the battlefield, the priority is the lives of soldiers. We fight with iron and head, not iron and meat. Meanwhile, Ukrainians are losing their lives and health in Avdiivka. American congressmen of the House of Representatives went on a 2-week vacation without considering the aid package for Ukraine. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, did not put the aid package for Ukraine approved in the Senate on Tuesday to a vote. At the same time as the former special representative of the U.S. State Department for Ukraine, Kurt Walker, said about 350 deputies out of the 218 needed are ready to vote for the package, but there is no vote yet. So there is no decision, which Ukraine has been waiting for 2 months. Yes, we really cannot do without this aid package, because our country and Russia are incompatible in terms of area, size of economy and population. And we are also different because Ukraine is a democratic country where there were 6 presidents for 30 years, and not an empire where there was President Yeltsin and then Tsar and dictator Putin. In fact, helping Ukraine is now helping all democratic countries in the fight against dictators.
Now, I can't see into the future, but there are no guarantees that Ukraine will defeat Russia. But that does not mean that we should stand back and let Putin have his way with Europe. What sending weapons to Ukraine does do is help discourage further Russian and Chinese invasions, which could draw us in. It helps preserve NATO. It allows America to remain the leader of the free world. And it shows that we honor our word to our friends and allies.
Everyone is used to the fact that key decisions depend on the United States, that they always act as a point of stability and confidence. So when a world crisis coincided with the US internal political crisis, trouble ensued. Because if a superhero, instead of rushing to help, pulls out a gun and laughingly shoots himself in the leg, it becomes a little creepy from the absurdity of the situation. But as before, the main country of absurdity remains Russia. The main opposition leader of the country, Alexei Navalny, as reported, had died in prison. Now the Tsar's election is in no danger. The unofficial opponent died. The official opponent, Nadezhdin, was not allowed to participate in the elections, and therefore it is possible to safely hold pseudo-elections. By the way, if you look at the Russian media, Navalny's death is to blame the West. Yes, the man was in Siberia in prison, protected by Russian escorts, but Navalny was killed by the West. By the way, just yesterday Navalny was present online at the court and was in a good mood, and today he officially suffered a blood clot and they could not save him. But don't think that this is some kind of production or, God forbid, a murder. It is just that at the age of 47, a person can die quickly. Because how could it be a murder if, according to the official report, death was confirmed at 2:07 p.m. and at 2:09 p.m. there was already an official death report on the website of the regional branch of the Federal Penitentiary Service. Everything was understood and everything was written in 2 minutes.
In terms of the specific measures that we would undertake, we are looking at a variety of different costs that we would impose, and I am not going to telegraph this publicly at this point, but we have communicated that there will be consequences if Mr. Navalny dies. Jake Sullivan, Joe Biden's national security advisor, in an interview with CNN.
This statement was said in 2021 and a lot has changed since then. However, we Ukrainians are waiting for a reaction right now. It is possible, for example, to give us more help so that we can fight against the Russian regime, because who will now fight against them inside the country? All those who disagreed with Putin were killed. They are not even put in prison. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching. Stay updated, comment, like and subscribe to our UATV English channel for more news from Ukraine. Your support is that really matters for us. Goodbye.